This is the briefing for Friday, November 7th. We had a little bit of an optimistic end to the market today. Actually, it developed in the latter part of the day with the indices bouncing off of support areas. And most importantly, what we're seeing is the divergence in market breadth. This is market breadth for the S&P 500, and you can see what's happening here all through these are 60-minute charts, by the way, but all through the last week, you can see it's been kind of signaling that the market is strengthening from an internal perspective. This is net volume, up volume minus down volume. That has been improving. We reached the bottom today, reached actually a support level, and then bounced off of it. Same thing with the NASDAQ, a little bit of improvement, but not as much. NASDAQ showing more weakness than the other two indices. Net volume improving, and the same thing with the Russell. You can see the Russell improving also over the last 2 days of trading, net volume following along as well. So it does appear that potentially, if there's a resolution to the government shutdown, that we may have reached a bottom and we could be seeing the beginnings of another rally back to the upside. Although I should couch that with the fact that any type of negative news that would come into the market concerning that government shutdown would suggest then that potentially we could see another thrust back to the downside. Looking at where we are in terms of the little bit longer term perspective, this is what was signaling, and I covered this in several of the briefings for probably a couple of weeks, that the market was deteriorating, got a little bit of a bump increase in market breadth. This is NYSE breadth. And then, of course, we got a continuation of the divergence down. You can see then, of course, the bump today, bump up in volume, 52-week highs minus 52-week lows, still declining. That didn't improve yet, but I wouldn't expect that to improve just in one day. Came down, right, touched support. Then, of course, you can see the buying that came in. You can see a buying tail right there. A buying tail came in and started driving price right off of the support level. In terms of the Qs, we got basically the same thing. This is what I had listed as support, about the 600 level. Came down, right, touched it, and then of course we had a buying tail that came in. Buyers drove it back up again. Once again, this was the signal that we were going to see some type of decline, and same as in the NYSE. And then finally, looking at the Russell, you can see Russell coming right down to support. Russell really in just a rotational pattern. And you can see that right through there. Support coming in right at the 236.5 area. Russell breadth was diverging, or not so diverging, it was declining. And then, of course, we got a divergence in today's trading as well, suggesting that the potential for some type of rotation back to the upside was certainly available. And then, of course, overbought and oversold, basically neutral in the NYSE and coming off of a slightly oversold condition in the NASDAQ. Once again, NASDAQ showing more weakness in this decline than the other indices. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Monday, especially in the first hour of trading. In terms of net volume, you can see the decline in net volume over the last several trading days. And then, of course, you can see what happened over today's trading. Same thing with the NASDAQ coming off of a bottom here and net volume improving as well. In terms of the percentage of stocks above their 20 and 50-day moving average, you can see this is the 20-day moving average in the S&P 500. So you can see a little bit of improvement over the last couple days. Same thing with the 50-day moving average, a little bit of a bump there as well. And then in the NASDAQ, of the 20-day moving average, once again, this is the NASDAQ showing more weakness, really no improvement in the NASDAQ in the percentage of stocks above the 20-day moving average and the percentage of stocks above the 50-day moving average. And then, of course, in the Russell, Russell improving slightly in the 20-day moving average and improving slightly also in the 50-day moving average. So a little bit of hope, a little bit of strength in the internals, suggesting potentially that at least a short-term bottom may have been reached and that we could see continuation of this move on Monday. It is my opinion that if the government shutdown is resolved and it appears that it will be over, that I think the market will continue to move higher. On the other hand, if there is any negative news that comes out over the weekend, we could see another thrust back to the downside. But it is encouraging to see the improvement in especially market breadth and net volume over the last couple of days, and especially in today's trading. Have a great weekend. I'll pick this back up again on Monday.